Hey, everybody, this is DJ Culp, host of the Men Church Stuff podcast. Before we start our show today, I want to let you know that the conversation will seem like it ends rather abruptly, and that's because it unfortunately did. I had an emergency that came up and I had to attend to it, so I had to end the Zoom call early. No worries, everybody's fine, everything's okay. It was just a slight of plans on my end, so at a later date, Brad and I will definitely continue the conversation as to where our conversation on faith was headed. So we hope that you enjoy the show today, and let's cue that music. To anyone tuned in, this is the Men Church Stuff podcast. It's the show where brothers-in-law DJ Culp and Brad Coleman talk about what it's like being Christian men in today's society. Having spent our entire lives immersed in church culture, we want to share our experiences with other men who are willing to listen. We'll talk life stuff, church stuff, man stuff, and, well, stuff. Let's get to it. Welcome, everyone. This is the Men Church Stuff podcast. We welcome all listeners here and there and everywhere. I am one of your hosts, DJ Culp. As always, here with my beloved brother-in-law, Brad Coleman. Happy Thursday, Brad.
Hey, how's everybody doing out there?
Hope that you are doing well. So we owe all of our tens of listeners an apology that we didn't post or we didn't submit a show last week. I hope that you forgive us that the Thanksgiving holiday and the busyness of all that stuff just really kind of got in the way. But I will say, Brad, I'm going to take the opportunity right now to say that over Thanksgiving, listeners, if you're new to the show, Brad is my brother-in-law, married my sister, and it was our family's year for them to come visit. And so on Friday, Black Friday, my wife, Brad's wife, my sister, and my mother, they all went Black Friday shopping, which left 6 children and me, Brad, and my father. Now, what's nice is that my kids are about a decade to half a decade, so 5 to 10 years younger than Brad's kids, which was wonderful because Brad's kids essentially watched my kids. So what did that leave us doing? The guys got to sit around, and Brad, I'm not joking, dude, this was awesome for me. We got to play an old school board game called Rail Baron, Baron, meaning to own lots or to dominate economically. And so it's an old 1970s game. I grew up playing it. And maybe at some point in time later, like on another episode or whatever, we can kind of get into that. But Brad, I didn't say this to you. That brought back so many memories for me.
Yeah.
Because so just real quick, we started playing the game, probably around like 2:00 in the afternoon, and we got done at 8:30.
Yes. Yeah. When you won, by the way, when DJ won.
Yeah, I did win. That's correct. Yes. But that board game is so slow and long that the game is not about the game. Right. The game is about hanging out. And Brad, I just want you to know, man, it was a joy and a half for you, not just to be there, but the fact that you like the game. And that's gonna give me and Dad another reason to want to play it again.
Yeah, and I did, and I love that kind of strategy, and love being with you too. And one of my winning moments is when I stopped you from winning earlier than
yeah, that's true. You did. You pounced me. You got me.
Made it a little harder for you to win.
But I still dominated the game.
You did.
I did.
You did really well. Really well.
So, listeners, again, sorry that we didn't get an episode, but just know that, and we certainly hope the same for you guys. Just know that me and Brad were enjoying some really, really nice family time.
Here, DJ, I'll just say this: I'll do you guys a solid. I was I found this out last night. I was texting DJ. He's like, "Oh yeah, I already knew." If you have Spotify, I don't know some of these others, you can actually slow down the podcast to half speed. And
Yeah.
if you do that, it makes everybody sound like they're drunk or very high, and it is hilarious.
Inebriated. Yes,
And
yes. It's
so
really
you just
funny.
pick. I encourage you to pick your favorite podcast that we've done, and just you're not going to listen to the whole thing,
No.
but skip through it and just
Yep.
laugh and
Yeah.
laugh and laugh. I couldn't breathe listening
Yeah.
to
If you slow it
both of
down to
us.
0.75 the speed, it is hysterical. It really is. So
We did, I think it was 0.5, but
oh, you did it 0.5. Okay.
0.5.
So
Either way.
it was well into the evening then.
Well, anytime that you or I went to think about something, or and there was one case when you were repeating, you were like, it's like, it's like, and I was dying. I was like, I'm gonna wake up. The kids were asleep. I was like, I'm gonna wake up the kids.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. That's funny.
There you go.
Yeah.
There.
Well, listeners, normally,
podcast.
as you all know, for those of you who are regulars to the show, you know that I kind of moderate, if you will. I sort of facilitate the show. But Brad has requested that he's got the topic and he kind of wants to take the ball. So Brad, it's over to you, my man.
All right. So I want to start with asking a question, and a kind of a question to everybody who's listening.
Yeah, what's up?
Which is, what is it that that Jesus throughout the scriptures constantly is like bragging on people for? Because there's very few things that God calls out. He doesn't go, "Hey, you're such a you're such a super duper strong guy," or
yeah,
"Oh, wow, you're so incredibly righteous."
Yeah, right.
Even Abraham, who's called, he gets credited with righteousness.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the answer you're definitely looking for is faith.
Faith.
The two words that I had in my head, and I mean, like, Brad, I don't think that you would disagree with this because they go hand in hand. But the two words that I thought about were faith and love.
Yeah. Well, and definitely love, but faith and believing God, and that's specifics with faith, not just their faith in something, but their faith in God.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when Jesus calls out the apostles, oftentimes he calls them out on their little faith.
Yeah. It's yeah. So it definitely as like a derision, like, you have little faith. Oh, right. Yeah.
Little faith. And so, I'm looking through because so I was praying and just on some things just a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago. And I really felt like the Holy Spirit prompted me with this question. By the way, God loves to ask questions.
Yes, he does.
All throughout the scriptures. I mean, it amazes me. Since I realized that, it amazes me just how often God asks a question. And not for his own benefit. Yeah. Not for his own benefit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't even get very far. You don't even get very far into Genesis before there's several questions.
That's true. That's true. But no, the book of Job is like God's manifesto in question form.
Yeah. Lots of questions. And I always think and try to remind myself and others that God isn't asking the questions for his benefit. A lot of times when we ask a question, we're asking for our information so we can gain information. But usually when God is asking, because God already has all the information. So when God is asking a question, he's not trying to figure it out. He's not, God doesn't have aha moments like, oh man, just figure that out. No, God is all knowing. So he asks for our benefit. for the benefit of the person he's asking. And again, as we read the scripture, for our benefit, so that we're thinking, so that,
Yeah.
And so one of the things I felt like guy kind of asked me was, what did Jesus say to Simon Peter? What did Jesus say to Simon Peter? And man, he said, he says,
I
quite
mean,
a
like,
bit.
that's a laundry list there, Brad. Are you thinking about the who do you say that I am?
It really, well, so this is what I did.
Uh-huh.
I got on my Bible and I started with the Gospel of Matthew.
Oh, are you serious? Dude, you trekked through the Gospels and wrote down?
So I'm going
That's
through,
awesome.
And so I'm like, all right, Matthew 4:19, follow me and I'll make you fishers of men. He says that to Simon and Andrew and James and John. Then he says to all the apostles, why are you afraid? You men of little faith. Men of little faith.
Yeah.
Right. Which by the way is a compound word in the Greek. And I may be pronouncing this wrong. Oligopistos. And it's little and faith, just bunched into one word.
One word.
Faith. So I don't know, Jesus, and again in Greek, you don't have the you of little faith. So oftentimes
it's like a state of
he's just saying little faith.
It's like a state of being.
Right. So again, I don't know enough about Greek. I'm sure it's implied. Like, the you is implied. That's why we put it in English, and because we have to have it in English, because that's the way English works.
Right. Yeah.
But why are you afraid, men, little faith?
Yeah. Sure. Men, little faith.
He goes on, Matthew 9. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Therefore, seek the Lord of the harvest. And again, it goes on, and then he gets down to Matthew 14:31, and he's talking to Peter after Peter walked on water. Faith to walk on water, faith to get out of the boat. He says, command me to come to you. He says, come, and he gets out of the boat and he walks on water, and he starts to sink, and he's going back to, Jesus, save me, I'm going to drown. Jesus saves him, but as they're getting back in the boat, kind of like, because little faith. Why did you doubt? Little faith. Why did you doubt?
Yeah. It's almost like Jesus at that point didn't need to actually add, did you not realize you were walking on water? Yeah. Like you're okay. maybe that was the point. Like Peter realized, oh shoot, this is actually happening. Yeah. I don't know.
So much that he's continuously asking Peter questions. I love this one, and I'm like, yes. Matthew 15. Are you still lacking in understanding? Also,
yeah, right.
Do you not understand that everything goes into the mouth, passes in the stomach, and is eliminated? But the things that proceed out of the mouth come from the heart, and those defile the man.
Yep.
And Matthew 17 goes, what do you think, Simon?
I'm just going to be honest. If I can be very transparent here, Brad, that if Jesus were to say to me face to face, what do you think, DJ? I don't know if I would have enough guts to answer. I don't want to say anything about that. Because
that's where I like Ezekiel. All right. That's where I like Ezekiel, because God says, can these dry bones live?
Yeah.
And Ezekiel goes, you know.
What a wonderful response.
Like, that's like, Lord. I was like, because I don't like if I say no, you'll be like, oh, God can do all things. If I say yes, like, well, where's your faith? I don't know what you want from me. So,
I don't know what you want from me.
By the way, interesting. So, because Matthew 17:20, which is right before he says, Simon, what do you think? Right?
Yeah.
They're asking, why couldn't we cast out this demon? And he says, little faith. This is a little faith.
Yeah,
Little
right.
faith. That's why you couldn't cast out the demon. It's a little faith.
Oh
But
gosh, that's
so
good.
what? Why are you afraid? And little faith. Why are you afraid? Little faith. That comes up a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
That comes up a lot to Peter, but also to the other,
yeah, right.
apostles. So I'm going through here, and it's like, all right, so what is fear? It's kind of like the opposite of faith.
Yeah, right.
So why are you afraid? Why aren't you using your faith? And hey, little faith, which the awesome thing is too, which I find funny, is that Jesus also he keeps saying little faith, right? Hey, you
Uh-huh.
little faith, you little faith. But then he also tells them, all you need is little faith,
Yes.
the grain of a mustard seed.
Yeah, right.
A
That's all
little
you need.
small, little, it's all you need to do great things. Just little faith. So maybe Jesus, again, maybe it's a stretch. So I'm gonna present it as such.
Uh-huh.
Maybe Jesus is not just saying, hey, you just have a little faith.
Uh-huh.
Maybe Jesus is saying, hey, remember that little faith you got and
Hmm.
use it.
Right.
Someone said this: faith is like a muscle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you use a muscle and you push a muscle, it grows. But
Right.
if you don't, it atrophies.
It atrophies, sure.
Yeah. And so when we step out in faith in God, then that faith muscle, if you will, kind of grows. But when we don't use it, when we don't step out, well, then again, oftentimes it's fear, but sometimes it's just lack of little faith.
Yeah.
Like, use it up. So all that's he uses all several times. Just I'm tripping over my words several times. Little faith, little faith, little faith to these guys. Call them out on all this stuff. But then as I'm going along, I hit this other example, and it wasn't what he said to Peter, it was what he said to someone else. And I'm looking through my notes real quick so I don't like butcher it, but I may just have to do it anyway. Yeah, we ain't nobody got time for that. All right, so there's a woman who is a Canaanite woman. That's what it tells us. She's a Canaanite woman.
Uh-huh.
So not a Jew, not even a Samaritan, a Canaanite woman. So pagan. And she has a daughter who is possessed by a demon. And Jesus is coming by, and she's calling out to Jesus to Jesus. And he's ignoring her. Now, Jesus does things very strategically.
Yeah.
He knows how this is going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
He's letting her, I think, exercise that call. But he's ignoring her, and it's really starting to get on the apostles' nerves.
Do you want to read this real quick? Because it's 7 verses. I found it while you were talking. It's Matthew 15:21 through 28. It says, when Jesus left there, he withdrew to the area of Tyre and Sidon. Just then a Canaanite woman from that region came and kept crying out, have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is cruelly tormented by a demon. Yet he did not say a word to her. So his disciples approached him and urged him, send her away because she cries out after us. He replied, I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But she came, knelt before him and said, Lord, help me. He answered, it isn't right to take the children's bread and throw it to their dogs. Yes, Lord, she said, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. Then Jesus replied to her, woman, your faith is great. Let it be done for you as you want. And from that moment, her daughter was cured.
Yeah. So here's the awesome thing. The apostles are like, Jesus, she's aggravating us. Tell her to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell her to go away. I mean, and so then he responds to her almost as if he's doing what they ask.
Yeah.
Hey, like I'm here for the children of the house of Israel. It's not good for me to give their bread to the dogs.
Huh.
And she goes, Yeah. But even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table.
Yep.
And Jesus, who constantly with the apostles and constantly is using this term, little faith, says to her, and when we look at the Greek, we translate it great, which is right.
Yeah.
When we look at the Greek, the word is like megas, and it's where we get our term
Mega. Yeah.
mega.
Right.
Which is great. But for me, it charges me up a little bit because Jesus says, hey, because of your mega faith, what you ask is done. Go, it's done. And it's like, wow. That's wow. Like, it's such a beautiful picture too of Jesus when he says, come to me. Whether you're a Canaanite woman or a Muslim or a Hindu, whatever, he's come because he wants to take those who are not his and make them his.
Yeah.
Well,
and what to be quite honest, I had actually forgotten about that particular passage, Brad. When I think about faith that is like above and beyond, to be quite honest, I actually don't think about David. I mean, I do think about Abraham and him just up and leaving. But really the very first place that I go is, and I've got this pulled up. I don't like, I'm looking at a particular website. I don't know where this is. I think it might be in Luke, but the centurion. Yeah. So I'll read what the little excerpt here, that there a centurion servant whom his master valued highly was sick and is about to die. The centurion heard of Jesus and sent some elders of the Jews to him, asking him to come and heal his servant. When they came to Jesus, they pleaded earnestly with him, this man deserves to have you do this because he loves our nation and has built our synagogue. So Jesus went with them, but he was not far from the house when the centurion sent friends to say to him, Lord, don't trouble yourself, for I do not deserve to have you come under my roof. That is why I didn't even consider myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I tell this one, go, and he goes. I tell that one, come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard this, he was amazed at him, and turning to the crowd following him, he said, I tell you, I have not found such great faith even in Israel. Then the man who had been sent returned to the house and found the servant well. Like, what I love is, in that kind of a passage, and I don't know the word for it. It would take me just a second to pull it up, but like when Jesus heard this, he was amazed. Jesus was amazed. What on earth is it that you're supposed to do not to make Jesus smile? This is not an ordinary task, but I mean, it is ordinary, but it's not. Like, what is it that makes Jesus amazed? Not that you think that what he can do could happen, but that what he can do will happen. Like the centurion was like, look, I'm not worthy for you to come under my roof, but that's not why I sent for you. I just know for a fact that you can do it. Yeah. And all you have to do is say it. And Jesus was amazed. So that's the first place that I go when I think about faith.
Yeah. Luke 7, 1 through 10.
Yeah, Luke 7, 1 through 10. So that is all that we were able to get before I had to leave abruptly. So listeners, as always, we love that you love our show. Thank you for tuning in each week to hang out with me and Brad. Brad and I love doing these conversations, as you always know. Share our show with your friends, your family, the people you go to church with, people that you work with. Let people know about the podcast. If there's suggestions that you would like to send our way, we are certainly happy to dedicate an episode or two or more, depending on how many suggestions come in. But you can contact us, menchurchstuff@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram @menchurchstuff. We also have a Facebook group page, Men Church Stuff Podcast. But without further ado, listeners, we'll catch you next time.